guys, welcome back to Defeating Hair Loss. My name is Steve. I have a special guest here tonight. Wait, you're not Bobby Dunlop? Who are you? This is Lance Fuller. Lance, welcome back, baby.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve. It's great to be back here in Austin, Texas.
Lance it's the first time on this channel, and I am so excited. Lance and I, we go way back, and I think it was 2012?
That's right.
Well, 2012. So Lance was a very, very young man. He's still a very young man. And he reached out to me, and I started like Bobby D, and you all watch us together and how I took him from kind of cradle. There's no grave going on yet, but I'm working on nurturing him, and his hairline looks amazing. Can you pull back that hairline? Oh my God, there's Bobby D too. Wow, look at you. You look fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about your journey in a second.
Yeah.
Dr. McGrath, your last procedure, did that hairline, which to me is just like rock and roll. I mean, I love it. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And you're out there now, Lance, besides living overseas. We can talk about that. You can explain to everybody what's going on. But your My Follicular journey is your claim to fame. I mean, it was at the time and still is an amazing kind of virtual blog. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's right. So in 2014, I had my first hair transplant procedure under Steve's guidance and tutelage. And I decided that for how much research that I had done at the time into having a hair transplant, I wanted to document everything from everywhere I looked, what questions I had, the answers that Steve was able to give me, and where else I looked. And basically 3 years in a row, 2014, 2015, and then the beginning of 2017, I had 3 surgeries. And my blog, My Follicular Journey, as well as my YouTube channel, shows all of the posts, pictures, and video of every day of the recovery from each procedure, as well as every month of progress going to 1 year from each procedure. And I've had 4 procedures. I've done 2 FUT strips and then 2 FUEs that Dr. McGrath did, and I couldn't be happier with the results that I have. And I couldn't be happier or more proud of the work that Steve here does with Bobby, with David, and all the other guys, and putting them in the right direction and getting them on that path to a fuller head of hair.
And we had, just to chime in, Lance, I think I'm sitting next to Bobby all day. Where's my Bobby? So, you know, Lance, if I recall properly, right, you had been doing some research and you found a couple, you know, local physicians in the DC area.
That's right. I used to live in Washington, D.C. long time ago. I live overseas now, and I can talk more about that later. But at the time when I was living in Washington, D.C., I was looking at local practices, and it was not the type of operation that Steve would approve of or would really want to work with. And the first time I ever talked to Steve, I was really surprised that he didn't treat me like a commission. He didn't treat me like a sales number. He treated me like a human being. And what I thought would have been a consultation really was a master class on why was I losing my hair? What could I do about it? You know, they say that for every problem, there's a solution. And I tell you what, guys, Steve has always had the right answer and the right solutions for whatever ridiculous question or concern that I had.
Well, thank you for the kind words. And just to kind of elaborate on that, and everybody knows watching these videos, Lance, that, you know, I wake up every day and my kind of obsessive compulsiveness with hair loss and helping people is that you need to make sure you're getting these young men, these young women. Actually, any age doesn't really matter. If you just started losing your hair, you could start losing your hair at 55 or 60, and then you become a young hair loss person to me.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we check the boxes. We take the right steps. This is something, obviously, it's so exciting that I'm seeing you today, because it's an absolute, it's proven and proves to me that this is a long-term relationship. This is something that, you know, yeah, you've had a bunch of hair transplants. Yeah, you look fantastic, but the friendship and, you know, the mentorship, so to say, I mean, you could literally like walk into a hair transplant clinic, grab one of their potential, you know, patients and start talking to them, and it would be like me talking to them.
That's right.
Because we've been through so much in regards to, well, going back to those, going back to those clinics in DC, you know, nothing against anybody. Remember, we don't have a bad word to say about anybody, but they were not hair transplant clinics. They were plastic surgeons that bought an FUE machine, and you were a very young man that was confused.
That's right. That's right. So you know, there are unfortunately people who get into hair transplants and they don't have the patient's best interest at heart. They don't have your results and your peace of mind at heart. They're looking to make money. And look, I'm not against people making money. We all got to make a living somehow. However, it would be disingenuous if you say, I can give you great hair transplant results when you've never learned from a hair transplant physician, when you've never done any sort of fellowship, when you've never seen a surgery and you just buy a machine and then have the technicians do the procedure. And that's what I was saying earlier, is that that's not the type of operation that Steve would want any of you all watching this channel to go and do. So, you know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but you say it on this channel all the time. You need to go to a licensed hair transplant physician. Go to a doctor. This is a surgery. There is blood involved. And with any procedure, whether it's cosmetic or not, there can be complications. Number two, you need to go to a physician who's going to recommend to you a preventative treatment. I can have a great looking hairline, but if I all of a sudden start losing all my hair in the back, that's going to have a fence open field effect, and obviously wouldn't want that. And the third thing is that you want to make sure that the technicians who work with the doctor year round and use microscopes to dissect the grafts. Did I catch all that?
That sounded really good. Who taught you that?
I wonder who. Well, I know this. I learned from the best. So.
Yeah, that was awesome. And yes, you know, Lance is someone, he reminds me of myself. He documents everything, probably better than I do, but I am getting better at that. But he took everything in. He took his time. He's a very patient young man. You know, these things are not cheap. We want to make sure there's no mistakes. We want to make sure this is done right. And now you're going to end up at some point, if you follow those steps, looking like Lance, which is absolutely outstanding. So what we're going to do is, can you hang around a little bit? Because we're going to shoot a couple more videos. I want to talk about kind of a little bit of your life story, where you're actually living right now, which is super interesting, and also about how much, you know, you're excited to get back into the world of, you know, Steve Michaels, Bobby Dunlap, David DeMuzio, Dr. Dan McGrath, all that stuff. You're a part of the family, so let's talk about that, okay? Thank you for tonight for coming.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.